station, WTIM.
You're listening to WTIM, your information station. It's time now for your third and final segment of the morning show here today on Wednesday, April 9th, brought to you by People's Bank and Trust, where they put people first, and Landmark of Taylorville. I'm your host, Grayson Bauman. Joining me now is Jessica Franks, Recreation Director with the Taylorville Park District. Good morning, Jessica. How are you?
Good morning, Grayson. I'm doing good. Thanks for having me.
And I was hoping that you were on today. I almost asked you yesterday after the meeting if you were going to be on today. I was thinking we were right at about time. So now it is time. And there is something big that I would like to talk to you about a little bit here. And that is kind of a school board shakeup, a park board shakeup. Saw you at the school board, but we're talking park board. A little bit of a shakeup after the local elections. What can you tell me in terms of the new faces that the community will be seeing?
Well, we are going to have 4 new board members. One of those is a 2-year board seat, and that person will have to run again in 2 years for a 4-year term. Most of the time our terms are 4 years. So Sherry Craigs was unopposed in that race, so she will be the 2-year seat. And then we had a couple of people that had stepped down, chosen, not to run again. And so we brought on 3 new ones. Evan Mitchell, and he has been involved with the skate park. He is the person who did all the fundraising for that, the design, seeing everything through, and still continues now to continue to work on that with the park district. So he's worked with us and been around all of us for, several years now. And I think he'll do a great job. Blake Heimsness is a new addition, and he did very well in the election. He is involved with Red Bland, with the baseball and things like that. So he's just excited to get involved in things at the park. He lives very close to it, to Manners, and wants to see a lot of stuff going on. And then Debbie Gatton is the third person who we added. And these are all 4-year terms. Debbie Gatton has been involved with the park for years also. She is over the Kids Are Kids program. So they have that dance at the park every year or every month. She does that, but they all also use other areas of the park and they do Special Olympics. So they may practice, field events and stuff like that out at Don Bragg or what have you. So they're all over the park, and it's awesome to have people that are kind of already familiar with the park and the ins and outs, even if they're just in certain areas. It's good to have these people be a part of the decision making now as well.
And you kind of took the words out of my mouth there, because if, Evan's involved at the skate park, obviously understands what fundraising efforts need to be, things of that nature.
Yes.
You have Blake, who's working with Red Bland, understands the needs there. And you have Debbie, Kids Are Kids, Special Olympics.
Yes.
Okay, these are all big things and big deals. And so now all of a sudden they have real input.
They do.
As well. When will they be coming onto the board? When does that shift happen?
Yeah, so they get sworn in the 4th Monday of each month. I can't remember exactly what that date even is, but a couple of weeks, the 28th. So they all get sworn in on the 28th of this month, and they will start that day. They're sworn in at the beginning, and they can immediately begin to vote on things that are going on in the park.
So, and this is a personal question. We have some other things that we've already done without them. Now that they're coming on and having to kind of absorb those things that have been done without them, is there any chance for input there still, even though things have already kind of been started and processes have been started? What are they able to do in terms of things that have already been done?
Well, they have authority, to vote. They will vote yes, no. They can put input in anything. Well, I think that we should have, of course, some things have already been placed in motion,
right.
But there are a lot of things, even if you just think about the pool, we're going out to bid, and we'll be out to bid and actually receive all the bids before this meeting. So they'll be a part of the process of awarding the bids and things like that. So really their action, it starts immediately. If 4 people, no matter the 4 people, say no, then no is no, and a majority rules. And so it'll be interesting to see, but they're all great people, and I think they will work very well with the board, the members that we have left.
And so it's kind of a good time to almost be sworn in, I guess, in that regard too, because of such a big project that is being undertaken.
Yes.
As well. So interesting.
Yes.
I appreciate you sharing there. Anything else in regards to new members joining the park board?
No, actually, we're just excited, that they are people that are familiar with the park. Sometimes when people get involved in something, it's just because you don't want to see somebody's name on the ballot for the sake of being on the ballot.
Mhm.
These are all people that have a vested interest in the park and a reason for wanting to be involved in it. No one is just wanting to be there to come and make a mess or anything like that. They actually truly want to see things be done better. They want to have a voice in what happens. So it's the importance of being willing to run for an office. A lot of people don't want to do it, but sometimes people step up and then you're the one that gets to make the decision. So,
And they're already doing so without really having any recognition or name behind
yes,
it. And so
absolutely.
that kind of speaks to the value in
Yes,
which
no
that they'll be
pay, no
bringing on.
nothing. They do it all for free.
So we have new additions. We have Sherry Craigs for the 2-year seat, Evan Mitchell, Blake Heimsness, and Debbie Gatton for 4-year seats on the park board. When it comes to the pool project, since we talked briefly about it
Yes.
there, what can you tell me in terms of, you just let us know about the bidding
Yes.
and the things that have gone out and what we'll be voting on. Anything else that you can tell me there?
No, really, that's about it. I mean, everything is going out to bid. It's 3 separate projects. So it'll be, the demolition initial, then all of the main part of the job, then everything. And the third portion is finishing work. So these all go to 3 main contractors that will sub out everything like that. We were very adamant about using local people in this. Of course, there's not a lot of people locally that can do a $2 million concrete project, but a lot of these jobs will be subbed out to our local people. So the contractors, and there is a binder full of all of the local people that we've used in the past, the people that are, reputable companies in our community, even not just Taylorville, but just anywhere in this local area, rather than bringing people from out of state or anything like that. So it's a process that I'm glad to see them try to incorporate some people here that can do these smaller jobs. So that part I do like, that we're doing it that way. And it's been pretty quiet, but it's one of those where it's about to start and it's the calm before the storm, really.
Yeah. And that'll be a big meeting then on Monday, April 28th,
Yes.
in terms of what will be explained, what will be talked about. And so if interested, Monday, April 28th, at the dining hall, Manners Park Dining Hall, go ahead and maybe be a part of that meeting as well. You'd mentioned something to me before we got our start here that I'm blanking on right now that you certainly wanted to talk about here this morning. Can you fill me in on what that was? Because I'm completely blanking right now.
Well, the biggest thing that I'm the most excited about right now is James Park.
That's right.
And the tennis team. And I know I spoke last night at the school board meeting just to make them aware. A lot of people are already aware that the park board had voted to agree to create this separate account for us to fundraise for the tennis courts for the tennis team. And this is 3 new courts, and there are not currently courts on school district property, and there's nowhere for them to build them. And we have space for that. So the board agreed to that, but it does have to be, a community fundraising project. It's coming in around $230 for the complete project. And so Furlove made the initial donation for us to open the account, and anybody else, we're doing fundraisers. We've got a drive-through barbecue dinner that's coming with Dave's Barbecue. We're going to do a bingo night next month. So we're going to work with the kids on fundraising just so that they have that ownership and just that, they know that they worked to get this done. But we would really love for additional members of the community to step up and help with this. So it's going to allow them to still play tennis here locally. Right now, some of their closest matches are in Jacksonville. And so parents can't go. They're not able to make it after work and things like that. This is going to allow not just the parents and the family and the friends or people from school, but even just random community members can come by and see it. And honestly, James Park has been something that I've wanted to see improved since day one. And this is a huge part of that park. It's a huge amount of the space there. And given the 3 courts there, when those aren't in use, a lot of people are like, oh, it's just for tennis, but it's not just for tennis. Whenever they're not using it, the community, of course, has access to that, but there will be the semi-permanent pickleball courts, but then there's 2 half courts on each end of it too. So there's basketball, everything there. And so I think it'll just be a tremendous start to turning things around there at James Park.
I think that's important too, making sure that the community has different ways of being able to utilize that space too. Janes Park, that's part of the Don Bragg complex?
It's right by that.
Okay,
Yeah,
right by
they're
it.
kind of two separate areas. One portion donated here and there. So Don Bragg is the softball fields, and they've got the football that JFL and other people like that use. A playground and a covered little pavilion there. So the skate park is out there, and then Janes is the little league, the baseball fields and things like that. Tennis courts, playground, same thing.
That Red Bland is supposed to be using once again this year.
They are, and they are actually getting ready to start practice. Everything, they've got everybody signed up. They've joined another league, and I know that they've explained that to me. I don't have the information in my head just to spout it off, but they've had several kids sign up. They've got several teams. They're going to be using those fields. They've got girls on the softball field, and then men's softball is getting ready to start too. So there's going to be action in both parks on the fields.
Very cool. As the summer starts to roll in, and we can even talk some summer day camp here in just a moment and some other things that'll be going on with the Park District. Joining me now is Jessica Franks, the Recreational Director of the Taylorville Park District, and we'll come back around to talk more about it when we return on WTIM, your information station.
Your information station, WTIM. WTIM.
You're listening to WTIM, your information station, and our morning show brought to you by People's Bank and Trust, where they put people first, and Landmark of Taylorville. I'm your host, Grayson Bauman. Joining me back in the second segment is Jessica Franks. She is the Recreation Director at the Taylorville Park District. We've talked a little bit about the elections and the results of it, and some of the work being done at Janes Park with additions of tennis courts and more. We want to turn our attention to the upcoming holiday and what we have planned for that. We've got an Easter egg hunt that Jessica can tell you all about.
Yes, our Easter egg hunt, we have it every year, been having it for many, many years. It's going to be at Janes Park again this year, and that is Saturday, April 19th at 11 o'clock. So we have everything divided into separate sections, and I got every single section got a sponsor in the community. So I love it. If you don't mind, I'd like to mention them all because I just love, even if it's just small things like this, I love seeing people come together on it. So the Kiwanis, the Optimist, the American Legion, Casey Hall, Paycourt, Furlove, and Craig's Realty. So each one of those people sponsored a section. Each section will have, 2 main prizes, and then the fields are going to be covered in smaller prizes. Eggs with candy, eggs with prizes inside of them, things like that. And we talked about not everything is going to be candy. And so I just think that's a good addition and a nice balance. But I loved that there were so many different groups, that 7 different groups that came together to help purchase these things and see them get done. I think it's awesome to see people come together for a bigger thing like that.
And, just getting the community involved can sometimes be a struggle.
It can.
But
yes,
when everybody comes together for something like an Easter egg hunt, makes it all that effort on your end a whole lot more worth it.
It does.
Kind of the next deal that I can think of for you was that pickleball clinic that was going on.
It
is. The date I can't remember, but if you would fill me in there.
Yes, May 10th. And so that's going to be at from 10 to 11 is the first one, or 10 to 12, excuse me. It's a 2-hour clinic. So this is an official representative of the USA Pickleball, and he is from Jacksonville, Illinois, and he'll be coming down that day to do some classes. That first class still has a few spaces available, so be sure and get in for that. It's $25. You're never going to find anything that cheap. His personal lessons are like $75 an hour. This, you're getting the same thing for $25. You might be with a group of people, but he's going to go through, cover all the basics, spend time, teaching you how to play. So then you can come back out and play some more. So, and speaking of pickleball, I hate to jump, but I didn't mention this to you, but we actually had a company that had reached out to us, and they've donated 2 sets of pickleball, like the balls and the paddles and everything. So I know a lot of people don't want to get involved in a sport like that because they don't want the upfront cost. But there's 2 sets in the office that you can come in anytime and borrow to use. The office has to be open, but they're there if you want to take them out and just give it a whirl and see if you like it. If you enjoy it, then you can go out and spend the money on your own equipment. But it's there if you would like to come and use it to test it out.
And especially now with the the work being done towards Janes Park,
yes,
and the potential for that as well. Now you'll have that many more opportunities to be able to play some pickleball. And the CEO class just held a pickleball tournament. That was very successful.
Awesome.
So pickleball it's popular.
It is.
So let's cash in on it.
We're a little slow to the game, I think, in this area because it's hugely popular everywhere else. But we're coming along.
Retirement communities are
exactly.
That's the thing right
yes.
now. So
yes.
A lot of fun there. But that's not all. We also have pro disc golf, and
yes.
we've got a tournament. I know we were talking about maybe some more, but right
yes.
now we still have one that's concrete.
Right now, the first one is July 19th. So the second one was going to be a little later in the summer, early fall. And we don't have a date on that one, but this first one, July 19th is. So I have not gotten the registration information yet on that. But as soon as we have that capability for you to register, we'll post it online. So I know that they have it on their website and things like that too. So I will post all that information as soon as I get it.
In our last 2 minutes here, we've also there's a lot going on, but we also have the summer day camp
yes.
as well.
So day camp still has space available. We were very limited this year because we're going to be traveling a lot for different trips. So we're going to do day trips each time. I know people are, the pool's not open, but our camp has always been packed full of stuff. We always have visitors that come in and do lessons, or we're going to do cooking. We're going to do cookies. We're going to do all kinds of different stuff. We're going to do walking trips. We go to the library. We're going to the paper. We do stuff like that almost every single day with the kids. So now we're adding trips to like the zoo. We're going to Knights Action Park and things like that. So there's no shortage of things to do in day camp. And so don't think just because your kid's not going to be in the swimming pool every day that there's not going to be stuff for them to do.
And that is the summer day camp registration and space is still available. And with less than a minute here, Jessica, the summer concert series that I'm excited for you as well.
So excited. And so everything is 100% done with that. We even are bringing in a company that each one of the concerts, they'll do all the sound and lighting. So the donation that was made was able to cover not only the talent, but somebody coming in to do just whole 9 yards. This is going to be exactly what you see whenever you go anywhere else. it's almost the capacity that we can handle at the Chautauqua building. We can't go any bigger than what we have now. We don't have the space, but we're going to do it right this year. So it's been awesome to be able to do that with that donation. And I just hope that somebody in the community sees it and loves it enough to be willing to step up and do that for Taylorville next year.
Absolutely. So, go big or go home. And that is what the Taylorville Park District is doing. We're joined by Jessica Franks, Recreation Director with the Taylorville Park District, here on your morning show on WTIM, your information station.